Hi everyone, my name is Brenda Mendez. So for this task, we were asked to write a paper about a specific topic from our class, which is nonprofit management. And I decided to write about strategic planning because strategic planning can actually be applied to organizations and our personal lives as well. How, you may ask? For example, as a first generation student myself, I felt like I encountered many challenges and obstacles that felt like I wasn't going to be able to reach my ultimate goal, which was to graduate with my bachelor's degree. Within these last 4 years, I encountered many challenges, and in the beginning, it was very hard. I felt like I was never going to be able to hold a bachelor's degree in my hand. But it took one day for me to sit down and analyze my plan. I set a plan on how I was going to get to where I am today. I analyzed all my strengths and weaknesses, how I can continue my strengths, how can I improve my weaknesses. I identified all my resources, all the opportunities I may have that was going to help me get to my ultimate end goal. So I definitely feel like this plan allowed me to be where I am today, and I feel like many nonprofit organizations should utilize the method of strategic planning because it will ensure them to get to their end goals. So again, a mission is needed for a nonprofit organization because it provides direction and purpose for them to provide the needed resources for a specific population. So having a strategic plan is important to have for organizations because it identifies the priorities of the organization and assures that all stakeholders are on the same plan, as Worth stated in our book. So Worth stated all the specific steps that takes place within strategic planning, which begins with clarifying the mission, values, and vision, assessing the situation, identifying the strategic issues, developing the goals, strategies, objectives, writing and communicating the plan, developing and implemented plans, executing the plan, and lastly, evaluating the results. In my paper, I also emphasize how having many unsuitable managements can make it very difficult for a strategic plan to work because the process of following a strategic plan requires a lot of commitment from the whole organization management and stakeholders. As Lee, Rocks, and Feeney found in their study, they found that managers who manage nonprofit organizations have a greater freedom in managing, meaning that nonprofit organizations should execute a strategic plan because they are free to plan however they may like. So within my paper, I have 3 different applications, and I reference a specific nonprofit organization within Ventura County called Turning Point Foundation, their main mission is to improve the quality of life of many individuals that have mental illnesses, addiction, lack of housing, and those who have inadequate physical health care. So within my first suggestion of application, I suggested that a nonprofit organization needs to decide if they're going to hire an outside consultant or they're going to have their own management team execute the strategic plan. Identifying if they would have an outside consultant or their own management is very important because that will determine how the plan will proceed. Once they have clear identification of who will be managing the strategic plan, they need to clarify the organization's mission to make sure that they don't fail to provide adequate measures. So it is very important to make it clear who is going to be monitoring the strategic plan and identifying the main mission to make sure everything is agreed upon. So my second suggestion to getting to a strategic plan is to use the SWOT analysis method because within this method, all organizations are able to identify their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which is what SWOT stands for. So in this suggestion, I provide an example of how Turning Point Foundation, if they were to use the SWOT analysis, they can begin to identify all the strengths and weaknesses or opportunities or threats that they're having. For an example, a strength could be how they're having a specific population reaching the best results that it can be. They're providing amazing household items for people. A weakness can be that they're losing a donor and what they can do whenever they encounter the situation many times. So in my last suggestion, I was able to develop an action plan that takes place within a strategic plan. So within an action plan, there are specific details that are going to be identified, and that will lead the organization to achieve their stated goals. So overall, it is very beneficial for nonprofit organizations to use a strategic plan because it helps them to take accountability and ensure that they will always continue to provide ethical resources for their people. I personally believe that planning anything, whether it's in someone's personal life or organization, having a strategic plan and identifying every step of the way can help alleviate all the stress that people encounter whenever we don't have a set plan.